Hello, Hayden here. Thanks for joining me again. I'm here to share with you the golden circle so that you can understand what's going on with conflict and how to address it to get far better results in your life. Conflict happens because a need of ours hasn't been met, like we learn in the cycle of conflict. And yet what I learned in my study of nonviolent communication with the founder, Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, is that we don't get our needs met for two reasons. The first is we don't know how to honestly express what our needs are. And the second is we don't know how to make direct requests to get our needs met. Instead, we make hints and innuendos, hoping someone will decipher what our needs are, or expecting others to read our minds. Shouldn't our friends, family, and coworkers simply know? Well, it's easy to blame and judge others for not understanding us, or complain about a situation that doesn't meet our expectations. But giving our personal power away like this to someone else is not how you create the life you love and live it powerfully. So I'm going to show you the golden circle and what's going on with you and others in the midst of conflict. I'm going to focus on why conflict exists, how we respond to it, and what we can do from there. The golden circle is like pure gold when you understand it and use it to dissect conflict in order to deal with it effectively and efficiently. It conveys how the inner workings of conflict can be mined to turn conflict into creative solutions for you and all those you interact with. When you understand this, you understand human nature. At the very core of any conflict is the big why. If someone has a different why than you, it will drive conflict and disagreement. Understanding this will give you new insight into why the conflict has arisen and what is at the very root of it. Why you do anything is directly related to your needs. Everything you do is in service of a need. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Maslow's hierarchy of needs has stood the test of time and helps us understand why we do what we do. Needs are our big motivator. They are what moves us to take action in order to satisfy them. You can see this in action in any situation. Think about something adults do around the world every day. Get into their cars. Why? We're motivated to meet some need. Maybe it's security, so we get into our cars to go to work to make money. Or we need sustenance, so we go to the grocery store to buy food. Or we need a companionship or entertainment, so we go out on the town with friends or family. But first, we're always driven by our needs, and the car is just the means to meet our needs. Next, how we feel is directly related to whether our needs have been acknowledged or satisfied. Needs and feelings are ubiquitous. They are always connected to each other, and you can use this knowledge to dissect conflict. Negative feelings, needs not satisfied. Positive feelings, needs satisfied. The key is to get curious, ask questions to confirm, and then to find out what the need is. Say you're getting angry, upset, or frustrated. How you're feeling, this negative feeling, along with any other feeling, is for one reason and for one reason only. It's because a need of yours isn't being acknowledged or satisfied. You have a choice. You can use these negative feelings to explode on others like gas, or you can use these feelings as a predictable guidance system, like a GPS, to identify what those needs are by being curious and asking a question. Feelings are simply our need signal. When our needs are satisfied, we may feel happy, excited, or tender. When our needs are not satisfied, we may feel sad, angry, or scared. There are a myriad of feelings, and while they are not inherently good or bad, the tone of positive versus negative can guide you to determine whether your needs are being met. These feelings will then determine what we do and say, which is an outward manifestation of whether our needs are being met or not. You can observe this in people's body language, what they say, and what they do. If they act aggressively towards you or others, it's pretty obvious that a need of theirs hasn't been acknowledged or satisfied. Body language can be more subtle. It's important when you're focusing on what you see or hear to actually identify what was actually said or done, not what you made up about it. You can make up all kinds of things about any situation, but that's in your head and not an actual observable and indisputable fact of the situation observed by all that were present. This is important if we're going to address conflict in a way that is safe and respectful, to stick with the facts and not mix it up by what we made up about it, like, "You disrespected me." Well, that might be what you made up about it. It's impossible for others to do anything about disrespect unless they know what you heard or saw that brought you to that conclusion. That's where facts come in. If you said, "You began speaking before I finished and you raised your voice at me," now they know what upset you and they can act differently to show you respect. They can wait till you're finished and not raise their voice when they speak to you. Understanding the elements of the golden circle can help you drill down into any conflict you're having. When you work your way from the outside, like a drill starting at the outside of the earth and drilling until you hit the core of what has started the conflict, you can actually change the outcome of your interactions. By observing what people are doing or saying, identifying how they're feeling, and determining their big why, the needs that are driving them to feel and act a certain way, you can focus on what's really important, the needs, to address the conflict at its core. When you understand this golden circle, you understand human nature and what makes each of us tick. So let's go ahead and apply this golden circle. Remember the guy that called me an idiot and a jerk? Well, I'm going to unravel that using the path of the golden circle. So I started at the outside circle with what? I wanted to know what the circumstances were that led to his perceived slight. So I said, I'm curious, what did I do that has you think I was an idiot and a jerk? I was looking for the actions and behaviors I had taken that brought him to that conclusion. When he replayed for me what had happened back at that party, describing in detail what I had done, I was brought back to the time and place that created his anger. From his negative feelings, I got to the inner circle, the how, and I can understand that a need of his hadn't been met. I could guess that his need was for safety and respect. I had not given him the consideration that he wanted, and I stepped all over his need for respect. At this point, the blinders came off, and I had a new level of understanding that I didn't have when I caused the problems 5 years earlier. So let's go ahead and use the golden circle with the CEO and president that were having a difficulty for 4 or 5 years. First thing I do is started with what, and I said, what were the circumstances surrounding this difficulty you were having? And they shared with me in detail what the actions were, and that the CEO calling a meeting had a domino effect with the other leaders, having them to cancel their meetings and change the workflow. From there, I showed them a list of feelings. They identified that they both had feelings of annoyance, anger, and frustration. This simply said that a need of theirs hadn't been acknowledged or addressed. So I shared with them what I thought their needs were, and they confirmed. Then we worked on a strategy to help them meet their needs. Once we came up with a strategy, they both realized they were going to get their needs met, and it shifted their feelings from anger and frustration to hope and encouragement that their needs would be met, and they turned to each other and smiled. Do you see how easy it is to unravel and get to the core of conflict, when we focus on the what, how, and why, the components of our human connection. If you do this on a regular basis, you can change the conflict to connection with those you care about, because you now understand human behavior when upsets and clashes naturally occur. So I've realized I've covered quite a bit in these 3 videos, and I've created some PDFs for you to download. The first is a feelings list that I showed the CEO and president. The other is a needs list, and the third is a summary of the Curious ABC Pause. I also realized we've covered these topics quite quickly, and you might like to understand them more thoroughly. For instance, what's the difference between facts and meanings I create in my head? Or how do I use feelings as a guidance system or GPS to my needs, and not just as gas to explode on others? And how do I get really clear on the difference between needs and strategies so I can use them and be really effective? When I first came across these concepts, I was a bit challenged and thought I was going to have to do a lot of reading and searching to really get clear. When I studied with Marshall Rosenberg 5 years ago, I gained a tremendous amount of knowledge, and yet I had trouble applying it in my life because it wasn't a part of my normal way of thinking and speaking. So over the last 5 years, I've developed models and simple tools to make complex content easy to understand and apply in our real lives. I've trained these concepts to teams, executives, and frontline workers in how to use them, and I want to share them with you. So I've decided to take this face-to-face training that companies pay me in excess of $10,000 a day to present, and make it available to you for the low price listed below. That's right, for the low price listed below, for the same valuable processes, skills, and insights that I train to companies to help individuals pierce through the veil of conflict and create lasting and sustainable results for them in their lives, and not having to live in reaction to other people. In this course, there are 10 modules. In each module, there's a downloadable workbook, videos of live events, personal examples, and exercises to help you master these skills so that you have the awareness and power to create the life you love and live it powerfully, rather than to live in reaction to other people. Also, I give you an unconditional money-back guarantee that you will absolutely love and find value in this course, or I will refund your money and you can keep everything I've given you. That's a no-risk, money-back guarantee if you are not absolutely thrilled with this course. The PDFs I've given you are just a small taste of what this course will be like. So please go ahead and register down below to become a conflict guru. Pay the low price and you will gain instant access to the course. So please go ahead and register right now. Like I said, there's a no-risk, money-back guarantee that this course is worth your time, money, and effort to learn a life-changing approach to dealing with conflict and disagreement in your life, so you have the awareness and power to create the life you love and live it powerfully. So please go ahead and register right now to learn this valuable and life-transforming skills, so you have the confidence to handle any conflict and problem that comes your way in a safe and respectful way. If you choose not to, I wish you well in whatever way you choose to handle conflict and disagreement in your life. Thank you.